Hello, hello. This is Brent Harris. And in this video, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you about fulfillment. So this has been a subject of study of mine, among a few others, for the last several years. And the reason being is that I think it's partially a life coaching thing, which is, what I am. And there's, when you're going after, say, goals and ambitions and all these kind of changes that you wish to make in your life and reasons for which you might pursue productivity and focus and, create habits and morning rituals and these kinds of self-development things that we do. It would often beget the question of why are we doing this? So say, for example, why, if we want to learn about how to be more productive, it's why do I want to be more productive? That's a good question to ask. And the answer would be, well, I want to be more productive so that I can do more, so that I can accomplish more on any single day. It's okay, great. Well, why would I want that? Well, I want to accomplish more on a single day because the more I can accomplish, the more business I can generate, the more I can, say do for my, for my profession, for my career, for my job, and that might result in more money or more of a promotion or more recognition, or that I can just do my job better. And, these are all different reasons why we'd want to be more productive. It's okay, great. Well, then what's all that for? And then usually when you ask that question a third time, you get answers like, well, I want to do well so that I can, be really successful so that I can, move on to the next stages of my life and kind of accomplish these bigger, longer term goals of mine. Maybe I want to move somewhere different, or I want to start a family, or I want to start a business, or I want to pursue my passion, or whatever it is. And then you ask again, well, why do you want that? What's that for? And then you keep asking again and again and again. And then eventually what happens is in this kind of line of questioning is you end up kind of you end up in emotional territory where it's you get words like I would feel free, I would be free, or I'd feel okay, or I'd feel safe, or I'd feel stable, or I'd be happy, you kind of get these answers. And so in my own line of questioning, the word fulfillment has come into play, where it's I would be fulfilled. That could be synonymous with actualized. I would be actualized as a person, which is to say, my potential, everything that I feel as potential in me, wherewithal, ability, aptitude, all of this would be expressed. It would go from inside to outside. It would manifest in the world as, the different things that I've accomplished, and I could see that I've accomplished everything and everybody else can see it and it can be recognized. And I would feel fulfilled. I would just feel okay. And so I would assume, as I address you in this video, that you're kind of in a similar place, that what I was describing just now. I mean, that's what appeals to me. That's what all of my effort is kind of focused towards. And I assume it would be a similar thing for you. And so, let us summarize that with the word fulfillment. And, that's what we're going for. So on one level, it's important to be productive and get your work done and have good habits. And that's there. That's valid and real and important. But it's really, really easy to gloss over the element of the fact that everything that we're doing is for fulfillment. That's literally what everything is for. And so due diligence should be paid to that direct outcome as well. We should really look at that, it seems. Because what becomes a little fucky, you could say, about these absolute end game desires that we have is that the more we get to the nub of what really motivates us to do anything, the more we discover that we're seeking a particular state of being that is only available in a now moment, that is only available now, or not at all. And you could look at that from a physiological perspective, whatever kind of brain chemistry would be involved in fulfillment. It can only that sort of neurotransmitter situation. I'm way out of my element, but like, you know, it can only be released in a moment such as this right now. It's like, you know, theoretically all of the elements are available, you know, if they can just be called upon right now. And yeah, so it's only available right now. Now, you know, as I say, you know, like I've had this conversation a lot, and, you know, if you're hearing this, then, you know, usually an objection would be, well, you know, I don't want to just experience fulfillment without actually accomplishing all the stuff that I want to accomplish, because I actually, you know, want to accomplish all that stuff, right? You know, it'd be, you know, it would somehow cheapen it to kind of just get all the fulfillment of the accomplishment without actually accomplishing the stuff. And so, you know, what I found, in terms of how to generate the most wellness for ourselves in any given moment, is to find out how to access that fulfillment right now, and then from that fulfillment, pursue the different objectives that we're after. Because a lot of us, I think this is kind of a Western idea. It'd be kind of cool to figure that out. But I think a lot of us in our culture as we speak, a lot of us believe that deep fulfillment, a deep sense of satisfaction, of like, of feeling okay in yourself as yourself, in your human being right now, to feel like at home and just okay, that kind of level of like comfort and satisfaction should only be available when we've accomplished everything that we've set out to accomplish, as if that's the reward for accomplishment. But my finding lately is that that feeling of okayness is the state of wellness that does not need any conditions to be there. It's just, I know this is coming off a little weird. I'm figuring this out in real time as I say it. But what I mean to say is that wellness that I'm describing, the sense of being okay, like that is our birthright. It's not a reward. It's not like the dessert after eating your vegetables. It is a state that we ought to access right away and become really good at accessing. Because if we can be in that state of wellness now and to live our lives from that wellness, then we can actually go about all of our different goals and ambitions more intelligently and with better productivity. And we just do it way, way better if there's wellness. Because if we feel like we need to accomplish things in order to feel okay, whether it's to lose weight, earn money, get grades, whatever it is, if we feel that we need to put all these conditions in place so that we can feel okay, then we're kind of caught in a trap, in the sense that we feel fundamentally unstable, we feel fundamentally unsafe in our lives, and we feel like we need to get there in order to feel okay. And if that's how we feel, then there's a desperation in our attempts to get there. And what we might say, we might defend a position like this and say, well, you know, I need to have a fire lit under my ass. I need to kind of feel that fear and that anxiety and that fear of fucking it all up so that it'll give me the impetus to really go for it. But it's my finding, I shit you not, it's my finding that it's actually a really poor form of motivation, that we actually have better forms of motivation available to us if we're willing to access them. Whenever it's fear that's motivating us to go for it, it does succeed in getting us off our butt and into some form of action, and that's good. But we tend to be just like in such an awkward mental place, and we're just so reactive and so not stable and not centered that whatever we do is really just it's really the bare minimum to get the job done, but it's not beautiful and it's not good, and the whole thing is unpleasant. The whole experience is unpleasant. if you've placed conditions on your own wellness. So therefore, I recommend that you access your wellness now, operate from it, live in it, bathe yourself in it, be well, and move deeper and deeper into wellness. Because if you do that, then the different pursuits that you're in, whatever it is, it becomes more fun. There's more enjoyment. And when there's fun and enjoyment and lightness and humor in what we're doing, we do a way, way better job of it. Anything that we produce has far, far more beauty, and it's and it has like a distinct quality about it that's nice, that people kind of like look at and like. It'd be like, say, imagine, for example, the Mona Lisa. It's rather mysterious about the kind of the headspace that Da Vinci was in when he made the Mona Lisa, but you've seen an image, you know what the Mona Lisa looks like. Do you feel like Da Vinci was stressed out? Was he afraid of failure as he was painting it? Like, probably not, right? He was probably having a good time while he was doing it. Think of any other, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, just arguably one of the most fabulous and profound, enlightening books of the last 100 years at minimum. Was Eckhart Tolle like stressed out while he was writing it? Like, no, he was deeply, deeply in touch with the wellness of his being as he was writing it. So now it's time for me to figure out how I got on this track. Right. Okay. So yeah, I want to, okay. So here we go. Okay. I get this. So, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to teach you how to experience your wellness, like even over the course of this video. But in order to do this, we need to meet intellectually first. You and I need to be in agreement that it's preferable to remove the conditions upon which you've placed your wellness. So, we need to agree that you would need to be willing to access your deep sense of okayness right now and to remove the conditions that you've placed upon it. And if you're willing to do that, then we can do that now. All right, here's how we do it. This isn't quite a method, but this is, I guess, more of something this is a frame that you can approach this with. And this is new. This is kind of born of my explorations with a program that I'm involved in with Adya Shanti. And it goes like this. There's an aspect of you that grows, and there's an aspect of you that evolves and becomes a better version of itself. Over the course of your life, your body changes, from that of an infant to a child to an adolescent to an adult. You change your clothes, you can change your name. You can develop skill, you can learn, you can master certain things, you can kind of, evolve on the level of the spirit and the soul, and you can become like more compassionate, more deep in your insight. But there's also something in you that does not evolve ever. And I would like for you to bring your attention to that aspect of you. It's the part of you that is old. It's as, at minimum, it's as old as you are, right? It's the part of you that existed when you were a baby. It's the part of you that exists right here in this red hot moment. So it's old, but it's also ever fresh. It's always refreshing itself. It's always new. Timeless would be an accurate way to describe it, but it's ancient yet new. It is the very center of you, the very, very center, the very center. You inside of you, inside of you, inside of you. What is that? Because what I found in myself is that it is just simply my consciousness. It is that which has the ability or the wherewithal to perceive, to know that you're here, to know that I'm here. And that part of you is deathless. That's why I'm bringing this up. It has been my own personal finding that consciousness is never fully extinguished. Would you be willing to allow that as a possibility? Because some of us are of the mind that consciousness is a product of a brain, that that brains and bodies create consciousness, and as soon as the brain and the body dissolve, so does the consciousness. But there's another way of looking at it, which is that consciousness intends to exist in physicality and calls a body into creation to be born in and to occupy. And this consciousness can be said to be older than the body. As I say this, do your best not to agree or disagree. I'm not, it's not really about that, because really we should go with what's true. That's the most important thing, to go with what's true. But if you'd be willing to suspend your idea of what you believe is true and just open up to the possibility that your consciousness is older than your body, and that there's more to your consciousness than you think there is. And your consciousness is rather expansive, even though, practically speaking, it feels rather focused, in this body, in this personality, right here, right now. It feels like this is all there is to it. There's actually much, much more that we're not privy to in this particular moment. This consciousness is one consciousness. It's all one consciousness. Your consciousness and my consciousness, perceived from different viewpoints. It's never extinguished, even when a body dies. Consciousness is the foundation. It's a deeper foundation than physical reality. Physical reality was created by consciousness and dissolves back into consciousness. And consciousness alone remains, because consciousness is not a thing. Things are born and die, are born and then die. Things have boundaries where it's like, okay, here's one, this is where, here's one thing and here's another thing, and here's like the boundary of the thing, and here's the space outside of the thing. Like, forms have those kind of parameters. Consciousness does not. Consciousness is not an object. It is subject. It is the subjectivity. That's why they say in Zen, like, anything you think you are is literally an object that you think you are. You're confusing your subjectivity for the object. Isn't that crazy? So here's how all of this applies. If you think that your consciousness, if you think that the consciousness that you are is extinguished when your body dies, on some level, there will be a desperation around death. There will be a primal fear around death. Even if you were to make peace, even if you were to attempt to make peace with the descent into blackness and nothingness, just like just the lights off kind of feeling about death. Like if that's where your belief goes about death, that it's just like lights off and nothing and nothing and nothing, it creates a certain paradox that in which we cannot be at rest. Because if it's true, if you truly believe that your consciousness is extinguished with death, whenever you try to picture it, whenever you try to imagine it, wherever your imagination goes in that image, your consciousness goes with it. And so you just imagine, your subjectivity surrounded, by blackness, or just kind of like nowhere, in this kind of like, rather kind of, hellish scenario of like, almost like a prison, an eternal prison sentence of some kind. The fact, it just doesn't compute at a certain level, because anything that can be imagined can be created. And if you can't picture your own demise, if you can't create the image of your own demise, it means it can't happen, because there needs to be an intention for something before the event can actually occur. All this to say, you have existed before your physical incarnation, and you'll continue to exist after. Your physical incarnation is just an event, and you should absolutely apply yourself fully to this event. Like, you should really go for it in your life. You should go for the gold. You should play with absolute abandon. But you should keep in mind that it's just a game. It's just something you're doing. You can succeed or fail at it, but your wellness is there all the same. And you are fulfilled all the same. Because fulfillment is what you are. The state of wellness is a natural state of wellness that it's available to you right now. And you've perhaps bought a lie that conditions need to be met before you can finally be okay. But you have the option now to release that belief. It's false. Wellness is available to you now. There's no experience. There's nothing that you could accomplish or experience that would offer you more fulfillment than is available to you right now. And you know this because you've achieved things before, or you've had really fantastic experiences. And they're great when they happen. They're great, right? But then what happens after? You're still yourself. You're still you. And then if you're not if the wisdom isn't totally there, then you might think, oh, well, that's because that was not the thing I needed. I need another thing. I need to get more money or more accomplishment, or I need, even more of whatever in my life. And when I get there, that's when I'll be okay, right? And the same could be applied to drugs. Just one more of this, one more of that, then I'll be okay. It's always chasing the wellness. Are you ready to learn that lesson now? Are you ready to be done with that madness? You could be done right now. All you'll need to do is release all of the conditions that you've put on your wellness. Realize that your conditions are just conditions. Just think about anything that you feel like, you need in order to be okay with yourself in your life. What is it you believe you need? Of course you need money to pay rent. Like that's there. But like there's a distinction here. Like, yes, if you want to pay rent, money's required. Right, correct. No denying that. But also, listen to this. I need money. I need money. That's false. Because because what you're implying is, I need money in order to be okay. I need money in order to feel safe. But on the deepest level, my friend, you are invulnerable. You are consciousness. You are never extinguished. There's always the deep fear that we all have is that we'll take a wrong turn somewhere. This is why we have such a hard time with big decisions. It's like, What if I choose wrong and I end up at some kind of dead end, and I really fucked it up this time, and I wasted this big opportunity, and it'll never be the same, it'll never be okay. What if I end up there? But it never happens. There are no dead ends in the field of creation, because wherever you end up, there you are with your imagination and your resourcefulness, and you can just figure out where to go from there. Doesn't matter. Just there's even in, like, suppose you find yourself in prison, heaven forbid, you're in prison and you can't really see your way out. Well, it's like, okay, fulfillment is available only now. There are no physical conditions that need to be met in order to discover fulfillment. So you allow fulfillment right now. And if you're willing to allow fulfillment right now, then the question becomes, okay, well, what opportunities are present right now? What can I do? And then, say, to continue the prison metaphor, it's like, okay, I wonder if I can acquire books to read. I wonder if I can acquire paper to write stories. I wonder if I can, what creation, what's possible for me right now. And you just figure out how to get back into creative flow. There's always an opportunity right here, always. The prison thing's a little extreme, I know, but I hope you kind of get the feeling of what I'm getting at. The more you get in touch with the deep invulnerability of your nature. And once you know how deeply safe you are in this life, and if you're willing to come to rest with the paradox of knowing that, the one single guarantee in this lifetime is that we're going to die. It's safe to die. And we're safe in this lifetime. And we're safe, it's safe to play full out, to really go for it. To really like take a risk and really kind of, offer what's in your heart, whether it's like an art or something you want to write or a song to create or a business or a nonprofit, or, you want to volunteer at something, or you want to step up in your workplace and, offer an idea, right? Something that's kind of, scary or counterintuitive from the level of the ego and the mind, but something that's just in you to offer. You're safe to do that. The part of you that evolves and changes and grows is not your fundamental identity. And that is the time-bound thing. Like, it's like you can work with it and play with it and make it as big and as great as you possibly can, or not. Whatever, at the very end of the day, you are fulfilled. You are complete. You are utterly complete as a person. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing missing. There's nothing to prevent you from feeling deeply, deeply well right now, on the most fundamental level well. And then knowing that you're free to enjoy the whole thing. If there's anything about your circumstances that is not okay, that's just not okay, whether it's something that happened, something that's happening, and it's like right here in your life right now, or something that threatens to happen in the future, you can take action on it and change it, but you can only do your best job of that once you have agreed to first of all, allow it to be there. Allow it to have happened. Allow it to be happening. Allow it to potentially happen. And be like, okay, all right. That's the reality. No sense in denying it. And then you're free to start working with it to the extent that you're able. So it's been about 30 minutes, and I think that's what I came here to say. Hold to the part of you that does not grow, that does not evolve, the part of you that is beyond your physical body. Become more acquainted with that. Get in touch with the deathless nature of it. Don't even take my word for it. Just get it, just look for yourself. Look as deeply as you can. Look inside your own consciousness and inquire for yourself if consciousness can die or not. And then from that place of deep safety and invulnerability, create what's there to be created. Do what you've been meaning to get around to. Do something, really start taking action on that which you've been kind of waiting for your opportunity to do, and maybe consider start doing that now. And I think you'll be rewarded for it. Thank you.